All right, let's jump right into this. I want you to picture a guy named Leo. Leo's just your everyday guy, right? He's relatable, maybe a little funny, but he is absolutely not a financial expert, and right now, he is staring at his phone, completely frustrated. See, he's just trying to send some money online to a buddy across the world, but he's hitting this massive wall of pending notifications, holding periods, and, of course, a totally unexpected foreign transaction fee. It's a huge headache. He's stuck. And in this explainer, we're going to follow how that one incredibly annoying moment sends Leo tumbling headfirst into the wild, complex, and honestly fascinating world of cryptocurrency.
So, Leo sits back, rubs his eyes, and asks himself a pretty simple question. Why does sending money have to be so incredibly hard? He realizes the bottleneck here is the bank. The bank is acting as this trusted third party. You know the drill. They hold his money, they have to approve the transfer, they take their little cut, and they completely dictate the timeline. And Leo is sitting there thinking, in an age where I can instantly text a friend on the exact opposite side of the planet, why on earth can I just hand them my digital money directly, peer-to-peer?
Well, life has a really funny way of answering our questions. Looking for some kind of alternative to these ridiculous bank fees, Leo goes down an internet rabbit hole and stumbles upon a document from 2008. It's a white paper written by this mysterious, anonymous figure named Satoshi Nakamoto. And as Leo reads the abstract, a huge light bulb goes off. Satoshi was proposing the exact same thing Leo was just dreaming about, a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash that lets you send online payments directly from one person to another. No banks, no financial institutions, just direct.
But of course, Leo immediately hits a massive roadblock. It's something called the double spending problem. He thinks to himself, wait a minute, if there's no bank sitting there checking my account balance, what stops some scammer from just copying their digital coin like an MP3 file and spending it twice? It's a great question. And Satoshi's brilliant solution wasn't to add a bank back in, but to create a peer-to-peer network that timestamps every single transaction into an ongoing, completely unchangeable chain, a blockchain.
Okay, so you have a blockchain, but how do you keep it honest without a boss in charge? The network actually needs a way to agree on what's real. Leo discovers that these networks survive using what are called consensus mechanisms. Basically, he finds out there are two completely different ways blockchains keep themselves secure. Proof of work, which you've probably heard of as crypto mining, and proof of stake, which is crypto staking.
Let's start with proof of work. Leo visualizes this as a massive, sweaty, highly competitive race. Imagine giant, power-hungry computers just stuffed to the brim with specialized heavy-duty hardware consuming absolutely massive amounts of electricity. They are literally racing against each other to solve these complex cryptographic puzzles. The very first miner to put in the computational effort and solve the puzzle gets the right to add the next block, and boom, they are rewarded with brand new coins. It's secure because, well, hacking it would require a practically impossible amount of physical electricity and computing power.
Then, Leo looks at the other side of the coin, proof of stake. This is what newer networks, like Ethereum, have adopted. Instead of a noisy, sweaty race, he pictures this more like a quiet, highly secure vault. In this system, users lock up their own crypto tokens as a stake. Validators get chosen based on how much they hold, which means you need very little energy or heavy hardware. The security here comes from financial risk. It's skin in the game. If a validator lies or acts dishonestly, they suffer what's called slashing, meaning they literally lose their own staked money.
All right, so feeling pretty confident that he finally understands how this magical digital money is actually secured, Leo decides to take the plunge. He downloads a crypto exchange app, fully expecting to just buy a little bit of Bitcoin and call it a day. But instead, bam! He is instantly hit in the face by this chaotic sea of acronyms, wild charts, and over 4,000 different cryptocurrencies, what people call altcoins. He is completely, utterly overwhelmed.
So how on earth does Leo make sense of all this chaos? He takes a breath, steps back, and realizes he can actually break the market down into 4 basic buckets. First, you've got coins like Bitcoin and Solana. These are native digital money running on their very own blockchains. Next up, tokens like Chainlink. These don't have their own chain, they're built on top of existing ones, like Ethereum, to offer specific services. Third, you have stablecoins like Tether and USDC, which avoid all those crazy price swings by pegging their value directly to regular money like the US dollar. And finally, meme coins like Dogecoin, which literally started as internet jokes but somehow grew into these massive community-driven assets.
As Leo explores the world of tokens, his jaw just completely hits the floor. He starts reading about NFTs, non-fungible tokens, which are basically unique digital assets that prove you own a specific digital item like art. and he finds out that a single piece of NFT artwork called The Merge sold for, wait for it, nearly $92 million. That's when it clicks. This isn't just an alternative to his local bank anymore. It is a highly speculative, absolutely booming digital economy.
But as Leo digs a little deeper into how beautifully borderless and decentralized all of this is, he trips over a very dark reality. He comes across a legal review that bluntly describes the cryptocurrency space as a petri dish for criminals. It turns out the exact same things Leo loved about it, the lack of a central boss and the ability to send money anonymously, make it an incredibly attractive playground for scammers, hackers, and money launderers.
He spots one specific, glaring issue: services known as crypto mixers or tumblers. Leo learns that bad actors use these services to take tainted, illegally obtained crypto and literally blend it together in a pool with clean crypto from innocent users all around the world. It scrambles the transactions. It essentially erases the origin of the funds, making it nearly impossible for law enforcement to track where the stolen money actually goes.
The sheer, terrifying scale of this danger hits Leo like a ton of bricks. According to a crime report he finds, there was an estimated $39.6 billion in illicit cryptocurrency transactions in the year 2022 alone. Just let that sink in. This isn't just a handful of hackers in a basement. It is tens of billions of dollars completely bypassing traditional legal oversight. And this brings Leo to a massive realization. He understands that a borderless digital asset absolutely requires a global response. I mean, if the blockchain lives everywhere at once, on computers all over the world, how does any single country police it? So Leo decides to take a look at how the world's biggest financial markets are trying to lay down the law and act as the sheriff in this Wild West.
What he finds is pretty fascinating. He observes two completely different regulatory approaches taking shape across the globe. On one side, he watches the European Union trying to build a unified, highly organized framework. But over on the other side, he sees the United States, which happens to be the largest crypto market in the entire world, relying on a much more scattered, fragmented kind of strategy.
Over in Europe, Leo is really intrigued by the rollout of what they call MiCA, which stands for Markets in Crypto Assets. It's actually the world's first comprehensive crypto framework that crosses jurisdictional boundaries. It's phasing in across 27 member states by June 2026, and it sets very clear rules for trading platforms, advice, and custody. The whole point of MiCA is aimed directly at protecting consumers and establishing undeniable legal clarity so everyone knows the rules of the road.
Meanwhile, looking back at his home turf in the US, Leo finds a vastly different picture. Despite being the most influential crypto market globally by a mile, the US has this incredibly complex web of overlapping federal and state agencies. And a lot of times, these agencies have completely conflicting mandates. It results in a relatively hands-off, regulation by enforcement approach. Basically, regulators sue companies after the fact, which leaves a lot of market participants just guessing what the actual rules are supposed to be. So Leo sits back, looks at both of these systems, and realizes the incredibly delicate tightrope that lawmakers are walking right now. It's the ultimate balancing act. On one hand, governments desperately need to crack down on that $39 billion of money laundering, and they need to protect everyday investors from getting defrauded. But if they regulate too harshly, they risk completely suffocating the groundbreaking blockchain technology that makes this whole decentralized financial system possible in the first place. Finally, the fog clears. Leo steps back and connects all the dots of this wild journey. He started out just wanting to avoid an annoying bank fee, right? And he ended up understanding how Satoshi's vision uses things like mining or staking to secure an entire network. He learned how to navigate a sprawling 4,000-plus market of coins, tokens, and stablecoins. But most importantly, he sees the dual nature of crypto now. The incredible, empowering freedom of bypassing central authorities, perfectly paired with the massive, billions of dollars risks that have global regulators totally scrambling to catch up.
He finally gets it. This isn't just magic internet money, and it's certainly not just a speculative casino. Cryptocurrency is a revolutionary, completely borderless financial tool. But here's the catch. By removing the trusted third party, by completely bypassing the bank, you are taking on the massive, completely unforgiving responsibility of being your own bank. If you make a mistake, or if you get scammed out of your tokens, there is no customer service hotline to call and reverse the transaction. You're on your own. Leo's journey from total frustration to crystal clarity leaves him, and honestly all of us, with one final lingering thought to ponder. As governments around the entire world race to draw legal borders around a fundamentally borderless technology, desperately attempting to tame this decentralized beast,
Who will ultimately decide the future of our digital cash?